Come in, pull up that stool. Yes, that one. The leather is cracked, but it has supported a century of dreamers. Don't worry about the dust. It is just the skin of history. Settle yourself down. Can you feel it? The air in here, it is heavy, isn't it? It smells of machine oil, old oak, and the quiet breath of 1,000 clocks. People look at me and they see a relic, a museum piece, 102 years old. My skin, it has become like the parchment I used to draw my blueprints on, transparent and thin. I look at my hands and I see a map of every single day I have lived. But look at this waistcoat. I've worn this same style for 60 years. It's sturdy. It holds me together when my bones feel like glass. And this chain here, it carries the only thing I truly own, my father's pocket watch. It doesn't just tell the hour, it tells the story of every Thorne who came before me, every man who stood where I stand, every heartbeat that ended so mine could continue. I have spent my life in this small circle of light, surrounded by these candles and the constant tick-tock of the universe. It's a rhythmic heartbeat, isn't it? I've fixed the pulse of kings and commoners. They all come to me with the same desperate hope. Arthur, they say, make it run again. But lately, in these long, quiet nights, I've realized that most people, they don't want me to fix their clocks. They want me to fix their lives. They hope that if the hands move forward again, they can somehow find a way to go back. But time, it is a cruel master. It only marches in one direction. Today, I want to tell you why the most broken thing in this workshop isn't a gear or a spring. It's a word that has stolen more lives than any war I ever saw. That word is someday. My father, he taught me everything. He was a man of few words, but his hands, they spoke volumes. He taught me that every human being is driven by a mainspring. It's the coil of steel deep in your chest that gives you the energy to move, to love, and to build. Arthur, he would say, as he worked by the low light of the oil lamp, if you don't wind it, you rot. You become a hollow shell. But if you wind it too tight because of greed or fear, you snap. And a snapped spring, Arthur, it can never be truly the same. When I was in my 30s, just after the Great War, the world was rebuilding, and I was rebuilding too. I was wound so tight I could barely breathe. I wanted to be the finest horologist in all of England. I wanted my name on the front of every shop in London. I worked by candlelight until my eyes bled and my head throbbed. My Elizabeth, oh, Elizabeth. She was the melody to my rhythm. She was the silence between the ticks. She would stand right there by that window, letting the afternoon sun catch her hair, and she'd say, "Arthur, put down the tweezers. The tide, it is high in Brighton. The air will smell of salt and freedom. Let's go, just for today, just for us." And I would look at the unfinished gears on my bench. I would look at the pile of gold I was trying to grow. I would touch this very waistcoat and say, "Someday, Elizabeth, when the shop is famous, when we have the gold, when we are ready, someday." I thought someday was a destination, a place on a map where time was infinite. I was a fool. Elizabeth. She passed away in the winter of '82. I spent 40 years promising her a sunset I never gave her. I realized too late that I wasn't saving time. I was killing it. I had all the brass and the silver in the world, but I didn't have a single Tuesday afternoon on the pier with the woman I loved. Don't wind your spring so tight for a future that hasn't been promised to you. Don't forget to move the hands of your heart today while the sun is still shining. Look at these clocks on the wall behind me. Do you see that one in the corner? Its hands. They haven't moved since 1964. Not because the gears are broken, not because the spring snapped, but because it got dusty. Dust seems so harmless, doesn't it? But it turns to grime. Grime turns to rust. And then, one day, the mechanism, it just gives up. It stops trying. Human relationships, they are exactly the same. We let silence settle like dust between us. I didn't speak to my brother, Thomas, for nearly 20 years. Over what? A dispute about our father's inheritance, a set of silver spoons. Imagine that. Two grown men, brothers, who shared a bed as boys during the Blitz, separated by the pride of a few pieces of silver. Every year, I thought, I'll call him someday, when he admits he was wrong. When I feel ready, Thomas, he died in his sleep, alone, in a small flat in London. I found out 3 days later. I went to his home. The spoons, they were sitting in a drawer, covered in dust, cold and useless. They didn't bring him joy, and they certainly didn't bring me peace. I stood at the back of the funeral, and I realized that my someday, it had finally become never. Pride, it is a heavy, rusted gear. It stops the movement of grace. If you are holding a grudge today, Listen to the ticking of my clocks. Each tick is a second. You are choosing to be cold instead of warm. Is your pride worth more than a brother? Is it worth more than a friend? Clean the dust. Call them. Don't let your someday become a headstone in a rainy cemetery while the gears are still turning. People ask me, Arthur, how do you stay so sharp at 102? How do you keep the light in your eyes? I tell them the same thing every time. I stopped living in the then, and I started living in the now. When I pick up a tiny screw with my tweezers, I am not thinking about my breakfast or my inevitable death. I am only thinking about the thread of that screw. I am present. We live our lives like bad travelers. We are so busy looking at the map for the next turn that we never look out the window at the beautiful scenery. We treat today as if it were a bridge to tomorrow. But what if the bridge is all there is? Look at the light from that candle next to me. It is consuming itself just to give us a little light. It doesn't ask if it will be burning tomorrow. It doesn't plan for next week. It just burns. Your life, it is that candle. You are burning right now. The question is, are you giving off light? Or are you just smoke, waiting for a wind that hasn't come yet? Stop for a moment. Take a breath. No, a deep one. Feel the air entering your lungs. That breath, it is a miracle. It is a gift that millions who came before you would give every ounce of gold to have for one more second. Use it. Paint the picture you've been hiding. Write the letter that scares you. Drink the good wine you've been saving for a guest who never comes. Don't wait for a special occasion. Being alive, it is the only special occasion you will ever need. The clock doesn't wait, and neither should you. My own mainspring, it is reaching the end of its coil. I can feel it. The metal is thin. The tension is low. I can feel the slow down in my own pulse, in the way my heart beats a little more hesitantly each morning. And yet, I have never felt more at peace, because I finally sold my someday. I went to Brighton last year. I'm 102, so I needed a wheelchair and a nurse who smelled of peppermint and patience. But I went. I sat on that pier right where Elizabeth used to stand. I felt the salt on my face. I heard the seagulls screaming at the tide. And I spoke to her. I told her I was finally there. I told her I was sorry it took so long. And for the first time in 40 years, The ticking in my head, that constant hurry, hurry, someday, it stopped. And there was just the sea, and silence, and peace. I want you to do something for me before my candles burn out. Go to your desk, find your calendar, look at the margins, find all the things you've written there, the dreams, the visits, the I love yous you've been hoarding. Take a pen, cross out the date, write today. Time, it is the only currency that you can spend, but you can never earn back. You think you are poor? You are richer right now than I will ever be, because you still have now. Thank you for spending this hour with an old man in a dusty shop. It's the greatest gift you could give me. Now, go. Leave this place. Go outside. Feel the sun on your skin. Hug the people who annoy you. Say the words that feel too big for your mouth. And live. Live so loudly that you can't hear the clocks. I'll be here for a little while longer, watching the shadows grow long. But don't wait for someday to find your own peace. Goodbye for now. Keep ticking.